the last out. And here is Corey Seager. And a high drive into deep right field. Seager has done it again and tied up the game 3-3. And the Dodgers might be heading either for a championship or extra innings. What a way to finish up in the 9th inning. 2 out here in the 10th inning. And now Charlie Culberson coming up. Swung on a high fly ball to deep left field. The Dodger bench empties. Would you believe a home run? And the Dodgers have clinched the division and will celebrate on schedule. Charlie Culberson, a game-winning home run. What a moment to have it. And would you believe his first home run of the year? So the Dodgers, for the 4th straight year, have won the National League Division title in the West for the final home game of the regular season.
Straight out of a Hollywood script that entire weekend as the Dodgers celebrate Vin Scully and clinch a 4th consecutive division title with Charlie Culberson's walk-off home run. And now the final road trip of the season, 3 in San Diego, 3 in San Francisco, ready to get it going from San Diego right now. With Oral and Nomar, I'm Joe Davis. Solana Rizzo joins us in just a moment. Over this franchise's long history, there are so many games you can point to as some of the greatest, and I think that finish on Sunday with the context surrounding it, you toss that game into the discussion.
It was fantastic. You know, there's a natural 5-game winning streak high, but when it comes on top of Vin Scully's thank you weekend, and then you're winning all these games, and you do it in the fashion they did, there's going to be a slight hangover. There could be an overlap of emotion that, like, all of a sudden you can't concentrate on this game, but I think this team will, and they are really happy. The drive down here, they came by car, they came by bus, they're all here on time, ready to go for today.
Sometimes when you clinch a week early, as the Dodgers did, what do you play for? But you don't have to look far for motivation in this case as they try to track down the Nationals for home field advantage in the division series.
Well, it's good that they had a day off yesterday so they can celebrate a little bit longer because they deserve that. But at the same time, you got to turn the page. Now it's time to figure out what you're really going to play for down the stretch. Obviously, you want to keep guys healthy. Obviously, there's some guys still competing for that playoff roster. But at the same time, you want to get home field advantage. Right now, you've been playing so well. You want to keep that edge down the stretch. You want to have something that you're going, we're striving for. The season's not over, so you can carry that momentum into the postseason.
Some kind of party going on behind us with these lights. It's about all they've had to party about in San Diego this season. Not been a good year for the Padres. Dodgers will try and take them down in this 3-game series, and when we come back, Alana Rizzo tells us more about that race for home field advantage in the NLDS. The final 3-game series of this 2016 series between the teams, and Paul Clemens leading the Padres out there for this series opener. Time now for the starting lineup from Dave Roberts, brought to you by Honda. Chase Utley is at the top of it with Corey Seager hitting second, and Justin Turner, Adrian Gonzalez in those familiar 3 and 4 spots. Grandal catches and bats fifth. Josh Reddick in right hitting sixth. Toles and Peterson 7th and 8th in the order in front of Kenta Maeda. And so for Clemens, this is his 3rd major league season, and he's already with his 3rd different team. He was with Houston in their bullpen for a couple of years, then pitched in Miami for a couple of games this summer before he was claimed off of waivers by the Padres at the end of June. And last couple of times out, he's been good. No earned runs allowed his last 2 starts.
Yeah, and this is his first career start versus the Dodgers. He has appeared twice against the Dodgers coming out of the bullpen, and as you mentioned, his last 2 starts been very effective. But the one thing about it is that he has only gone 6 innings. He hasn't gone past 6 innings in any of his 12 starts. So he hasn't lasted in the game, so you're definitely going to probably see the bullpen at some point. But what he comes at you with is a fastball that hovers in the low 90s, a curveball, and a changeup.
Get him early because he's not going to be out there long, at least deep. And you know what? Get him early too, because emotionally this lineup gets some runs early for the Dodgers. Emotionally, maybe San Diego just check out of the game.
Dodgers trying to match a season-long 6-game winning streak. They ripped off 6 in a row in June and finished that homestand with a 5-game winning streak. Here we go with a series opener in San Diego. Strike one. Our closed captioning tonight brought to you by Shumash Casino Resort, where we are all about you. Dodgers have won 8 of 10. Go back to early September, 16 and 6 in their last 22 games. Playing their best baseball at the right time. A changeup fades away, and a ball and a strikeout. Utley. Chase had Sunday off with the left-handed starter for Colorado. Back-to-back off days for the veteran, who jumps ahead 2-1.
Coming off that emotional weekend, Dodgers had an off day. Fans had an off day to recover. Dave Roberts and his team yesterday were able to rest up a little bit, but I'll bet you the fans watching this game are still emotionally high from that dramatic weekend and win. Looking forward to more Dodger baseball after Sunday.
Charlie Culberson's first home run of the season. There was talk down in the bullpen during Culberson's at bat there in the 10th inning yesterday. You know, Charlie's got some pop, the guys were saying. Utley does too. That's a rope that's just foul, and it's 3-2. But the discussion down there went, this guy's got a little more pop than the numbers might show. One of the relievers mentioned, yeah, did you see at McCarthy's sim game, Culberson took him deep. So we know he's got the ability to go deep. Literally the next pitch, gone.
Perfect timing.
And it wasn't just a wall scraper. He knew it was gone.
Alana will visit with him live a little bit later tonight. Utley drives one to right center. Renfroe took a poor angle, and it sails over his head. Just like he did on opening day here in San Diego, he doubles to begin the game.
Not surprising. Chase Utley's been doing this all year long, setting the table at the top of the lineup. Now that the Dodgers have clinched, let's not forget at the beginning of the season, they didn't know who their leadoff batter was going to be. Now, after they've clinched, they know who it's going to be in the postseason.
And Corey Seager climbs in. What a day it was for him Sunday. Seager tied the game with a triple, and tied the game again with a home run, with the Dodgers down to their final out. The last time the Dodgers had a game-tying home run with 2 outs in the 9th and then a walk-off home run in extras, you got to go back to 1999. Raul Mondesi hit both those home runs. Utley at second, and a 1-0 to Seager.
When he hit the home run in the ninth with 2 out. It was a different swing. He collapsed his backside. He put some arc into that swing. He knew what he needed to do. And it wasn't a typical Corey Seager at bat where he was trying to hit a line drive and spray it all over the field. He collapsed and let it go.
Homer number 26 for him. Well on his way to National League Rookie of the Year honors. On 2-0. He hits it hard, but right at Asuaje at second. 1 out. With the Padres defense, a lot of unfamiliar faces if they've overhauled this roster this season.
Well, you're going to see that in September. They talk about the September call-ups with Hunter Renfroe on right, Carlos Asuaje at second base, we just saw in the field, and then Austin Hedges. Austin Hedges, the only one of those three that actually got called up last year and had some time in the big leagues. But these three had won some awards down in AAA. So they did it with their bat down in AAA, and we're going to see how their defense holds up today.
With the man at third and 1 gone, here's Turner. Breaking ball drops in for a strike. Now, in addition to Kenta Maeda, Turner the only right-hander in this lineup. Dave Roberts noticing Paul Clemens splits significantly more difficult on left-handed hitters. Here comes an 0-1. On right-handed hitters, beg your pardon. 1 ball and 1 strike on Turner.
You can see the first 2 pitches he throws to Justin Turner with a man on third, Chase Utley, in less than 2 outs. He goes right to that really big, sharp breaking ball. Well, that's the weapon that he uses against these righties.
Clemens 1-1. That's up 2-1.
The thing about thinking you want to get somebody out with a breaking ball, when you throw 3, 4, 5 in a row, you're probably going to hang 1 or 2 because it's impossible to just throw the best breaking ball in the world every time because you're right on the edge of it breaking, and I mean breaking down where it just spins.
Turner got under this one into short left. John Jay cruises under it for out number 2. Utley draws the throw and it's wide, but he'll hang on at third. 2 out.
Disappointing Justin didn't get him in, but a lot of fun to watch Chase Utley run the bases. His head is on swivel. He's doing everything perfect at every detail, drawing the throw, seeing if somebody's sneaking in behind him as he's creeping down the line.
He knew nobody was covering third. He knew that he can really get off the bag, and to see how far, in case that ball might have kicked away, that he can possibly score.
Gonzalez got a good hand. San Diego native and former San Diego Padre. That's for the man at third and 2 gone here in the first. Clemens first one. A breaking ball low.
When Adrian was here in San Diego, he was the offense. This was a team that could not score runs at all when he was on this team, and he was always the guy you labeled as don't let him beat you. Now he's got a lot of help around him with the Dodgers.
Two and 0.
His power numbers early in his career here in San Diego always impressed me because this is not a hitter's park.
Yeah.
And he still was able to hit the ball out to the opposite field and to the right side.
On 2-0. Hung over the plate, but he fouled it off. 2-1.
We're talking about Adrian's dominance here in San Diego and how well he did. You know, Will Myers having a tremendous year for the Padres. There's only 5 players in Padres history that have ever posted 30 or more homers and 90 more RBIs. Adrian Gonzalez did it 4 times.
It's in his 5 seasons here in San Diego. The 2-1 fouled off. 2-2. So he's now been a Dodger for as long as he was a Padre. 5 seasons for both clubs. It's also that short time people tend to forget about where he was with the Texas Rangers. Debuted there in 2004. Even before that, he was a Marlin farmhand. First overall pick of the Marlins in 2000. The 2-2.
Bounced into the shift. And the Dodgers waste an opportunity in the first. Utley with the leadoff double, but he's stranded at third, and Kenta Maeda takes it after this. Manager in the majors. Kevin Cash, Tampa, younger than that guy. Here's his starting lineup. Speaking of you, with plenty of it in this group. Only 3 players in the starting 9 tonight were in the opening day lineup. Jay, Myers, and Solarte. Then you've got a bunch of guys who are new. In the case of Renfroe and Asuaje, they both debuted just last week. And it's a lineup that'll face off with the Dodgers. Kenta Maeda, who's 1 win shy of matching the Dodger rookie record that Rick Sutcliffe set back in 1979 in his Rookie of the Year season. And he's 2 wins short, Kenta is, of matching the most wins in a season period by a Japanese pitcher. Daisuke Matsuzaka won 18 in 2008. And Kenta will have 2 more regular season opportunities tonight and on the final day. Travis Jankowski climbs in. And Maeda's first pitch of the night over the outside corner for strike 1.
Kent out there on a little extra rest, which he pitches better on, and he wanted to get out there and pitch. He was glad to be moved up in the rotation.
Jankowski shoots it to Seager. 1 gone. Take a look at the Dodger defense. In left field, Andrew Toles, and in relatively limited playing time, already has 3 outfield assists this year.
Yeah, he has shown off the arm this year. We know the arm, we know the amazing plays that Yasiel Puig has made out there in right field. But I didn't think anybody knew about Andrew Toles' ability to get that ball back into the infield with such velocity. Ned Colletti calls it the re-entry velocity measurement.
That's funny.
Got the exit velocity, the re-entry velocity, and he has a lot of it.
John Jay. Kenta started him with a breaking ball. It's 1-0. I think, did I read somewhere that that was the 2nd hardest throw from the outfield in the majors this year, as measured by StatCats?
It's a right field arm playing left field. Wherever it is, it's a great arm.
Jay bounces one inside the bag for a base hit. There is Toles, and the threat of his arm holds Jay to a single.
You've got the speed also that can hold hitters to a single. When he gets to that ball down the line, there is just absolutely no chance. He actually catches this ball before Jay reaches first base, so that's some serious speed as he goes over here and gathers this after about 8-9 steps. He's got that ball, and he hasn't even touched first.
So 1-out single for John Jay, and it brings up the lone Padre All-Star, Will Myers. Goes after the first pitch, strike 1. First time in his career he's been an all-star, and it's the first time in his career that he's played a full season. Injuries had been an issue for him. He's the Rookie of the Year in Tampa Bay in 2013, but battled injuries the next couple of seasons. It's a wrist from an outfield collision 2014. That injury lingered on last year. Missed 100 games a year ago in his first year here in San Diego. Had to have surgery on his hand related to that wrist injury, and a bone spur there. As you saw a moment ago, the numbers here in the second half as he's played in his first full season have gone way downhill from the numbers that earned him the All-Star nod. Going upstairs on 0-2, and he takes it for ball one.
Well, Myers is creeping up on a first ever for a Padre, too. He's got 28 home runs and 28 steals. There has never been a 30-30 guy in Padre history. Been thrown out only 6 times in those stolen bases.
He's kind of become the guy here in San Diego with all the roster turnover. Hard to find too many guys in the lineup or in the rotation that you recognize. Myers is that guy. Brought in all those big names a couple of off seasons ago, but they've unloaded all those players. The Matt Kemp, the Uptons, Craig Kimbrell,
Fernando Rodney.
Yeah, this goes on.
Drew Pomeranz.
Still does that a lot. Myers down on strikes for the second out.
Big game James Shields no longer here. Little slide piece right here. Doesn't do much sliding, but does a lot of dropping to get him out in front.
Maeda back in the ballpark where he made his major league debut. Hervis Solarte climbs in for his first at bat tonight. What a debut it was for Kenta. 6 shutout innings. He's made 2 other starts against San Diego. Had that great debut, and then an average night in May where he gave up 4 runs over 5 innings. His most dominant start of the season came against the Padres to finish the first half when he struck out 13 over 7 innings.
Would you think the Dodgers would have a championship year if I told you that Kenta Maeda is going to lead the staff in wins and innings pitched?
Probably not. It's actually going to be the first rookie to lead the Dodgers in innings pitched since Fernando Valenzuela, 1981.
Clayton giving fake signs over there trying to mess with the Padres.
Think they're fooled?
Nah.
Or he's just bored.
He's definitely bored.
So 1-1. Solarte yanks it to right. That is a base hit in front of Reddick. His throw to third is offline. Jay's in there safely. And the Padres are at the corners with 2 gone.
Solarte is able to get that changeup that falls over the middle of the plate. Selvar Grandal wanted that ball from Kenta Maeda. He was hoping that it would just tail off the end of the plate and that Solarte wouldn't be able to barrel it up, or possibly just miss it altogether. But Solarte does a good job staying on it and driving it to right.
And it gives Hunter Renfroe a first inning opportunity. One of the many young guns in this Padres lineup now. Only 24 years old. He made his major league debut a week ago.
Styling with the number 71 on his back.
Yeah, you can tell that he's new just by looking at that. Highly touted prospect, though. Shouldn't there be some kind of degree of highly toutedness that gets you a lower number?
Respect.
Yeah.
Maybe. But not here.
I guess not. side. It brings them a 1-0 after a look at first.
A lot of different reasons other than the running game to step off right there. 1-0 count, first inning, could cost you a run if you make a mistake. Maybe you don't like the grip on the baseball or the pitch selection, so you just step off and pretend you're checking the runner.
Renfroe hits a high drive to left field. Tolles is back at the wall, and Renfroe has launched a 3-run homer here in the first inning.
Kenta stepped off, and it was a high fastball they had called. And then when he gets back on the rubber, goes into the stretch, goes to the slider. That pitch kind of burned him. Let him extend his arms, and that young man's got a lot of power and is probably going to have a lot lower number next year.
And it falls over the middle of the plate. Even though he was out in front just a little bit, just because his timing was off. But it doesn't mean he was off balance, because he definitely had enough power and weight behind it to drive it way out in left field.
Carlos Suaje now taking ball one. Suaje debuted the same day that Renfroe did, last Wednesday. Different path. Renfroe was drafted and developed by the Padres. Suaje came over in the Craig Kimbrell deal. So Suaje, a product of the teardown the Padres went through after splurging a couple of off seasons ago. Tried to rebuild things through the depleted farm system. 2-1.
And I was telling you, when we were focusing on them on defense, you know, Hunter Renfroe was the PCL regular season MVP this past season. And he's showing off why he was MVP, but Suaje was the rookie of the year in the PCL. And they definitely have some young talent down there in the minors that have had some successful years this year.
That's the only award in AAA or AA you want to win, is the rookie of the year.
Yeah.
You don't want to be there for years.
Yeah, right. You win the veteran of the year.
No, you don't want to be the longest guy in the league. You want to win it the rookie year, and you want to move on.
Who is the guy in the Tigers system a couple years back that spent forever in AAA Toledo and set all the home run records? Mike
Have to look it up.
Henneman, something like that.
That sounds about right.
Hessman, I'm hearing.
You're hearing voices?
Yeah, in my head it's weird. 3-2. It's outside. Maeda's walk to Suaje.
That's what all that studying will do for you.
It's only the second walk Maeda's issued against the Padres in his 3+ starts this year. And this first inning keeps rolling with Austin Hedges coming up.
Falling behind 3-0 stings a little bit because the Dodgers already know the Nationals have won. Nationals were down 2-0 for a long time in their game, but then came from behind.
It's a ball to Hedges. Our truck doing a great job of looking this up for us, but Mike Hessman, 433 career minor league home runs.
You never want to have that record.
That's like Bull Durham, right? I mean, Crash Davis, like, sporting news should know about. No, thank you. I'm fine.
Breaking ball flipped into short center. A long run for Peterson, and he makes the catch. He had forever to cover and was able to slide the glove under it to put a capper on this first inning. First inning, we take a look at our Morongo Casino Resort and Spa slow-mo cam.
He comes a country mile for this one, and the hat comes off. He's always holding that hat on, but if he ever has a bobblehead, I hope they do it of this catch with the hat off.
With that hairdo.
Or would it be a chia pet?
They can do that too.
Yeah.
You have options with that.
You have options.
Definitely have options.
Ball one on the Osmani Grandal beginning the second inning. The Justin Turner chia pet earlier this year. There's 27 home runs for Grandal, 21 of them coming since the final day of June. And you saw the note on the screen a moment ago, but that leads the National League in that time frame. Included a couple of home runs over the weekend against Colorado. And a grand slam.
Well, he has had a lot of fun hitting off his old team this season. He's hitting .410 off the Padres with 6 home runs and 14 RBIs. That's only in 11 games.
Ahead of Clemens, 3-1, leading off this second inning. Foul ball, 3-2. Similar to former Padre Adrian Gonzalez, you forget that there was a stop before San Diego in Grandal's path. His was in Cincinnati. At least they drafted him, dealt him to the Padres, and he made his debut here in San Diego. On 3-2, pops it up. On the left side, long run for Sardinas for the first out. So here's Josh Reddick. What a lonely August that had to be for Josh. He was acquired at the trade deadline from the A's. So much success there in Oakland. Success hard to come by in his first month with the Dodgers, but here in September hitting close to 400. That's number 3 in the major leagues. It's this one sharply but foul, and it's 0-2.
It was a lot of fun to see him in the celebration with his Georgia football helmet on, trying to figure out a way to get the goggles on so it would actually protect him. Should have just put a shield on the helmet.
Yeah, a little
plastic
visor.
shield. Yeah.
Well, you know what? You should let him know, because hopefully the Dodgers will have another celebration, and then that way he'll have it covered.
There it is.
Yeah, that one, because that one I don't know if it quite worked. If it kept the champagne out of his eyes. But it was a good effort.
0-2. And a breaking ball pounded towards the right field corner, and Reddick bangs that one off the wall. It ricocheted right to Renfroe, so he holds on with a single.
Well, there were 2 things that kept this hit to a single. One, the way it caromed off the wall to Renfroe, and 2, how hard it was hit. Reddick crushed this ball. I mean, this was on an absolute line and just only a couple feet away from being a home run. Yeah, he was hustling right out of the box. That was just hit too hard.
Good to see that smile. See a whole lot of it in his first month here. So a man at first for Andrew Tolles. And Tolles swings at the first pitch and launches a skyscraper to right. Renfroe settles under for out number 2. Nationals came back and won earlier tonight, by the way, so the Dodgers remain, well, right now sit a game and a half back of the Nationals for home field advantage in the NLDS. If they were to tie Washington, the Dodgers would have home field advantage by virtue of the head-to-head this year, having won 5 of the 6 meetings. So a 2 gone. Jock Peterson taking strike 1. Only 2 hits over the weekend, but 8 walks in that series against the Rockies. Change up, 0-2. Strike 3 at the top of the zone. Peterson thought it was high. He's frozen. Now head back towards the dugout, but the Dodgers down 3-0.
Straight year and en route to those 90 wins. They also have 24 games over 500 as far as the record is concerned. That is also a season high. You might imagine there have been a lot of great wins en route to the 90. So throughout this game, we're going to show you the 5 best wins of the year so far. And of course, appropriately, let's start with number 5. Game 1 of the recent home series with the San Francisco Giants. Madison Bumgarner, Yasiel Puig. Hashtag don't look at me. Obviously a little bit of a scuffle there between those 2 guys. And then Adrian Gonzalez, the walk-off double to score Corey Seager to get the win and route again, guys, to a tremendous year. We'll have all of these throughout the game.
All right, Alana, can't wait to see what else will be on that list in this magical run. Luis Sardinas fouls off the first Kenta Maeda offering. I'm sure there will be some fun discussion once we see all 5, what was left out. I'm sure there'll be, it's a subjective thing, right? What are the best wins of the year? Comes in 0-1 to Sardinas.
When appropriate, I have the stuff on Kenta.
Well, I'll tell you, when you look at the best wins, fans will say, well, there were 90 best wins. You have a 90 record right here to clinch the division.
Sardinas trying to snap an 0 for 20 here in his first year with the Padres. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Came over in August, traded here from the Mariners. Maeda's 1-2. It's outside with a change, and the count evens 2-2. 3rd major league season, and as a 23-year-old, he's already with his 4th different major league team. Not just organizations, but on the major league roster. 4 different teams before his 24th birthday. He signed out of Venezuela with the Rangers and made his debut for them when he was only 20. He soon went to the Brewers, then the Mariners, and now the Padres.
It's a shock to your system when you get traded, but for a guy this young to be traded so much already, he's already like, I'm used to it.
Maeda gets him with a change up, one away here in the second. Two strikeouts for Maeda, who now faces his counterpart, Paul Clemens. Now, Clemens in a game a few weeks ago, back in early August, got a little bit overzealous with the pine tar and got so much pine tar on his jersey that they made him take it off. And he had to go get a different jersey from the clubhouse, but they didn't have a second one ready for him. So they put this generic jersey on him. We were making fun of Hunter Renfroe for wearing 71. The jersey they put on Clemens was numbered 91, and the nameplate said player. 2 out. A reminder, limited tickets to the Dodgers' potential home games for the NLDS and the NLCS are now on sale. You can visit Dodgers.com/postseason to order yours today. Andy Green, the manager, said that he used more pine tar in his bat for that 1 AB than a lot of guys used the whole season. He was a reliever, I mean, his first few seasons, so I can't imagine he's dealt with pine tar too many times. And pine tar won that battle
because it was a throwback jersey. That's why, right? That's what they were playing with. They were wearing those throwback uniforms, so they only made one with his name on it.
Right.
Make no mistake, pitchers know about pine tar.
Of course they do.
Especially the pine tar that's made in America, because it's not a foreign substance.
Wow. I see the joke.
No, it wasn't a joke.
1-1.
No, that's his excuse for using it.
I don't use it.
Not now, maybe not, but
that's what I said.
Right, just like
you wanted us to use a little something to hold the ball so it wouldn't come up by your head.
James Jankowski. Utley's there. A 1-2-3 second for Maeda after the 3-run first. Memorable moments of the season came in Maeda's debut. Not his 6 shutout innings on the mound necessarily, but his home run against Andrew Kashner. The look on his face and the looks on the faces of his teammates in the dugout. How about his translator, Will Ireton, there? Priceless. Yeah, Adrian Gonzalez flashing the guns for Kenta, who leads off this Third inning for the Dodgers, down 3-0. Strike one. Let's go down to Alana Rizzo.
Joe, when Kenta Maeda was acquired in the offseason, the physical had some irregularities, and because of that, Kenta Maeda's contract was pretty incentive-laden, and of course now he's going to have 2 starts on this final 6 games of the regular season. That 32nd start of the season on Sunday is worth another $1.5 million to Maeda. If he reaches 180 innings pitched, that's going to be about 11 this week. That pushes his season total to $13.15 million. The only reason I bring it up is because when asked about it earlier today, Dave Roberts said that the organization is well aware of the financial implications that it is if Kenta gets another start. He said, you know what, every single time he's been out there, he's posted and he's gotten the results, and he will be rewarded for it.
It's an 8-year deal, Alana. Maeda swings at it, pops it up on the right side. Easy play for Suaje. 8-year deal, but the contract can range anywhere from, on the low end if things were to go poorly, which clearly they've not, $25 million on the low end, to over $100 million over the 8 years if things continue to go the way they've gone, with him, as Alana said, posting and performing.
Well, it's a great integrity by the organization. It builds that relationship between the Dodgers and Maeda and really makes him feel completely like a Dodger. And you know, I even think back to the home run. It's one thing to go through a spring training with your new team and to come over from Japan and a new culture. That home run helps start to cement his relationship with the team right away.
Back to the top and chase Utley. Strike one.
We were saying earlier, he's on the hill, and would you have thought that Kenta Maeda would be leading the pitching staff in all of these categories this year, from wins and innings pitched? And kudos to him. I mean, despite the irregularities in his physical, he bet on himself and believed in himself, and took that type of contract and has earned it.
Yeah, the guy whose contract was structured specifically for what was found in the physical is the one who has been in the rotation the whole year. 1-2 on Utley.
This way Kenta gets to pitch on Sunday and get that 32nd start, but also if he's the third guy in the rotation as far as the playoffs, gets him closer to that start, because there's going to be a lot of rest for that Game 3 starter.
2-2.
So it's a matter of keeping that rhythm. It's a matter of keeping that time off and preparing yourself, and that routine that a lot of starting pitchers go through.
Utley cracks one to deep right field. Renfroe watches it fly, and the Dodgers on the board on a Chase Utley homer. Number 13 of the season for Chase, and a 3-1 game here in the third.
We've seen a couple of balls hit hard off of Clemens. Josh Reddick was just a couple of feet away from hitting one over the right field wall. And now Chase Utley getting the right trajectory on this one, because he squared it up and hit it just as hard.
So he's crushed a couple against Clemens. Double the first time, and now the homer. And now Seager gets under it. And left John Jay. Paul Clemens, no relation to Roger. He says he gets asked about it all the time. Although he does have a bit of a history with Roger. While Paul was in the Houston system, he got to work a little bit with Roger when he was around. Paul is from Fairfax, Virginia. His dad is special agent in the FBI.
I would think that would lend towards some good mental toughness training.
Turner pops it up. Suaje is there, and a few pop-outs in this inning surrounding Utley's home run. His 13th of the season has the Dodgers on the board here in the third inning of the series opener in San Diego. Is brought to you by the Dodge Challenger. Test drive one at your local Dodge dealer today. And by Carl's Jr. The California Classic Double Cheeseburger for just $2.49 at Carl's Jr. The victory lap after the division clincher on Sunday. Front of a packed house at Dodger Stadium. What a memorable moment. John Jay leads off this inning against Kenta Maeda, who's in there with strike one. It was only the second time in franchise history the Dodgers had clinched on a walk-off homer. The other, Steve Finley's grand slam in 2004. And the second to last day of the regular season against the Giants.
From 8 down to winning by 8 is an unbelievable turnaround. Just a huge collapse by the Giants and great victories by the Dodgers.
Jay with a jam shot into center for Peterson.
It's a larger differential and comeback than even back in 1951 when Bobby Thompson shot heard around the world off of Ralph Branca. Quite a turnaround for the Dodgers to turn the best team in baseball around by 16 games. That's what the Giants were in the first half of the season.
And to do it in like 90 days.
It was quick. And without Clayton.
Yeah. Without Clayton, what, 75 of those 90 days?
He missed a good 11 starts.
Strike one on Will Myers.
I think he has 20 starts right now. Probably end up with 21. The one more on Saturday. Normally a year for him would be about 33 starts.
Ball on a strike.
I think that's why you were talking about before the game, Oral, about why you like this team so much going down in the postseason. Just the way they show their resiliency, the way chemistry on this team, the way they're all together, the way they've relied on everyone.
I think we learned a lot about them in their post-game interviews after the victory on Sunday too. They opened up a lot about the clubhouse chemistry and the culture that Dave Roberts has really kind of molded them into, and it really took time. They talked about there was almost a date. It's like the second half of the season, everything that the coaching staff and Dave Roberts had been working on all of a sudden started to come to fruition. That there was a lot more trust, there was a lot more grinding, that everybody was starting to buy in. The message was so consistent.
There's a 1-2 to Will Myers. It's low and the count evens.
And the way they've embraced the young guys coming up and been there and been mentors for them. And not only that, also the guys that they've traded for that new to the team. I read an article talking about like how Jesse Chavez says it was amazing how I felt a part of the team so quickly and how they made it a point.
Oh, Ruiz in his first start misses Kenley Jansen's cutter to cost them a game, and still said in his interviews, in 3 days I felt like part of this team. And he came on in a really bad situation, you know, looking like, oh my gosh, AJ Ellis is gone. Who's Ruiz? He kind of blows a game, misses some pitches. Same thing with, you know, Josh Reddick. Doesn't really get off to a good start, but still feels like part of this team. It really shows a lot for the coaching staff, Dave Roberts, and the players accepting that message, how Dave is so positive and welcomes everybody with open arms.
Even Rich Hill, I mean, went a month without pitching. Solarte takes ball one. You guys ever have a post-game champagne celebration where your families were invited into the clubhouse? To the degree that it happened on Sunday, Dave Roberts peeked his head out into the hallway. All the families were out there waiting, and he said, "Come on in, everybody." Solarte gets hit. Yeah, we'll get first with 2 gone.
Yeah, went out to give his wife a kiss, his daughter a kiss, and he saw them all out there just kind of mingling around, wondering or waiting for the guys. Yeah, that was. I don't think we've ever had that open of invitation, at least on the championship teams I've been on. Wow. A lot of times, you know, the sons of age that can come in, you know, anybody, let's say like from a 6-year-old, 5-year-old on up would start coming in, and some of the daughters. Everybody's in the locker rooms nowadays. It's real easy to invite people in because the showers are so far apart from
where the guys are changing, and the locker room is covered in plastic and everything. It's almost like a party room, not a locker room at that time. They had enough players to party. There's 40 of them.
This goes to show the adjustments they made in the locker room. If there was a time where you have 40 players, at least when I was playing, there was no way you had even room to bring the family in either. With that many, you had to bring in extra lockers. They didn't have enough lockers to have.
They brought in the portable high school metal lockers.
Right.
You used to put them down the middle of the room.
And then some guys would have to double up and share a locker.
Yep.
Here's Renfroe, his 3-run homer in the first inning, the difference right now.
I wonder how many bottles of champagne they went through, because they were spilling a lot.
Just wondering if Mitch and the boys are still cleaning up right now. Trying to,
that smell.
And shampooing the carpet, and
I'm sure they tried to vacuum it out first.
All hopefully so they can do it again. 1-1.
Get the wet vac out again.
Runner at first with 2 gone for the 24-year-old rookie Hunter Renfroe. Turns on it down the left field line. Toll's on the move. He's there. And that's the inning. Couple of scoreless frames for Kenta Maeda after Renfroe's homer in the first. Yearless. Rich Hill's near perfect game. The 7 perfect innings down there in Miami, which included Yasiel Puig's diving catch to preserve it. The bullpen gave up the first base runners of the night. Dave Roberts taking Rich Hill out with the potential of those blisters resurfacing with a bigger picture in mind. I get the feeling that some people will argue that as one of the top 5 wins, just with the bit of sour taste that still comes with it, with Rich having not gotten the shot to finish it. Dave Roberts has said that he wouldn't change it, and Rich Hill has said that he understands the decision.
A 36-year-old that's been with 8 big league organizations. And
Adrian Gonzalez skies one left center.
Once in a lifetime opportunity for Rich Hill, but could be a once in a lifetime opportunity for the whole roster to win a World Championship for these Dodgers. 55, 59, 63, 65, 81, 88, maybe 2016.
Well, they said that's their goal. That was their goal at the beginning of the year. They're one of those where the Dodgers are, you want to be that team where it's, if we don't win the World Series, it's not a good year.
That's a good position to be in. That tells you a lot in the confidence and the belief you should have when you start the season. And they've had that mentality. And Dave Roberts has kept them on that track and has had to make decisions based on that mentality.
4 straight division titles is nice, but, and that will be the discussion if they're unable to bring home a World Series, just as it was after 3 consecutive division titles, but it's been since '88.
I think Dodger fans need to tip their hat to the current ownership that they're in store for a very much of a championship organization for a long time to come. Last rookie manager Tommy Lasorda to win a division title. Now Dave Roberts.
1977, Tommy's first full season. Strike 2 on Grandal.
But I think the goal of this organization year in and year out will be to try and win a world championship, even if they accomplish another one soon. It's just the focus of the whole organization.
Hard hit to first. Will Myers takes it to the bag. Alana Rizzo, how about the rotation the Dodgers are starting to line up to try and track down that world title?
Yeah, Joe, for the rest of the regular season, it's going to be De Leon tomorrow, Urias on Wednesday. Then in San Francisco, it's going to be Rich Hill, then Clayton Kershaw, and Kenta Maeda. However, the postseason roster is set according to Dave Roberts. Of course, it's going to be Hill, Kershaw, and Maeda, but in reverse order. It's going to actually be Clayton Kershaw, of course, starting game 1. Then it's going to be Rich Hill, and then it's going to be Kenta Maeda in game 3. And then, of course, if necessary, game 4 is TBD, that ever-present TBD that's done a really good job this year. They basically said they wanted to give Rich Hill an extra day on the back end, just kind of watching that blister. Clayton Kershaw gets game 1.
All right. Josh Reddick taking a strike. Very interesting, though, to see Julio Urias back in there, making a start at the end of this series. Dave Roberts saying today that his light usage in September has made that a possibility. Reddick cracks his bat on a roller over the mound into the shift to end the inning. On to the bottom of the 4th, and when we come back, Alana Rizzo is joined live by Sunday's hero, Charlie Culberson. Back to San Diego in a moment.
Man of the hour on Sunday, Charlie Culberson, who it's been about 48 hours since you hit the game-winning home run, the walk-off home run to send this team to the National League West Championship. Your thoughts about the last 48 hours, what has transpired?
Yeah, it's been crazy. It was nice to have the day off yesterday just to kind of soak everything in. I've seen it a few times, and I still get kind of nervous because to picture me hitting the home run in that situation is unbelievable.
You visualized it a couple of times. Did you go back and look at it?
Yeah, I have. I'd be lying if I said I didn't. But again, it's like it's really surreal that it happened. The timing of everything and it being Vin Scully Day couldn't have worked out any better.
You've been the subject of a lot of media attention today, certainly here in San Diego. MLB Network wanted you. I needed you for the pregame show, and then Rick Monday and Dave Vassay talked to you for their radio program as well. And Rick brought up a really good point. He said you are the final call that Vin Scully will ever have at Dodger Stadium in his illustrious career. Your thought about that fact?
Yeah, Rick just keeps telling me that that's something that no one can ever take from you. To be able to be in the history books or something like that, and to have my name associated with Vin Scully, kind of a dream come true. Something I can tell my kids when they grow up, and yeah, it's a great story, and definitely happy to be a part of it.
You said you could tell your kids, and Collins and Ace and a baby on the way. Just how exciting has this year been for you, and certainly the opportunity to contribute in such a huge way?
Yeah, it's been great. You know, I've had my family out with me most of the year. We got a third one on the way. The neat part about it is, you know, I FaceTime with my daughter after the game, and Sarah, she doesn't know what's going on, so it just kind of puts things into perspective a little bit. It's like, yeah, it was great. It's the best baseball moment I've ever had in my life. But then to be able to talk to my daughter, Collins, and all she wants to do is clap and jump up and down, yeah, it just puts a smile on my face.
Charlie, this really is the epitome of using every single person. You guys have 40 active players in this dugout right now. I'm not sure that that's ever happened before. But what can you say about this group of men in this dugout that has led you guys to where you're going to be, and obviously at least one round in the postseason?
Yeah, it's been great. I'm just glad to be a part of it. You know, the Dodgers and everybody, it's been a different year for them with all the injuries, and but I believe everybody kind of knows the role. I know my role, just to be ready every single day and just try to contribute however you can. We have a lot of fun here. We have a good group of guys. We're all like brothers here. I feel like we're family. So it makes it a lot easier to come to the ballpark.
Huge moment for you. Thank you for being so generous with your time.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, guys, back upstairs.
What a guy, huh? That's awesome.
Yeah. Still very humble to call it the Dodgers when instead of saying we. And he's not going to have to tell his kids about it. They're going to be able to see it and hear it when he said, I'm going to tell her. It's interesting to listen to him get it all in perspective. It's moving so fast, especially for the young players. And he kept turning away because they're on the end of the dugout, and he didn't want to get hit by a foul ball from a lefty or somebody turning as a right-hander and hitting it in there.
Luis Sardinas, the 8-hitter. 1 ball, 1 strike. Culberson from Rome, Georgia. He missed pretty much all of last season, Culberson did. The bulging disc in his back. To the Rockies system. He played 5 games. They were all in AAA and then was shut down for the year. So came to the Dodgers in November, signed that deal. Made the team out of spring training with some of the injury issues they had. Back and forth between the majors and AAA. And then up for the moment of his baseball career in the home finale Sunday. 3-1.
I just love Dave Roberts' interview afterwards, how happy and how proud he was that it was Culberson that ended up hitting that walk-off. He was just talking about it like, oh, he's just a grinder, he's that blue-collar type of guy that just goes out there and kind of represents the mentality of this entire team. And that was just huge.
Made the roster out of spring training more about his glove than his bat. He could play a lot of positions. If you really think about who could be the backup shortstop on the playoff roster, if he makes the playoff roster, it's not going to be a sentimental choice just because of the home run. But he's really the guy that if Corey Seager went down for a few innings or even a game, you'd think about starting at shortstop.
And a 1-2-3 inning for Kenta Maeda, who's got his 5th strikeout of the night and hasn't given up a hit since Renfroe's first inning homer. Toyota's clearance countdown is on. Get the biggest savings of the year on the 2016 Prius family. How about this shot? Right after the game on Sunday. That is awesome.
Somebody said you got to have a lot of little boy in you. Vin's still got it in him.
Andrew Tolles to lead off the fifth for the Dodgers, down 3-1. Bottom third of the order against Paul Clemens. And Tolles slaps the first one into the seats for strike one. One and one. Fly to right his first time. Going through the games of the year for the Dodgers. I've got a feeling he's going to have a stamp on one of the top five. Pops this one into short left. John Jay is there. One gone. And time for our Coors Light Cold Hard Facts. We're taking a look at that Vin picture. That is one picture of Vin in goggles. But here are some of the other numbers of his legendary career. 21 no-hitters. Those 3 perfect games. Don Larson, the World Series in 1956, Sandy Koufax in 65, and then Dennis Martinez in 91. And he survived 9 different ownership groups. Jack Peterson with the bases empty and one gone. Goes after the first one, strike one. You don't survive 9 different ownership groups if you are not A+ as far as how you are as a guy.
And the most popular Dodger ever. Never put on a uniform. Everything from Carl Erskine's no-hitter all the way up through Kevin Gross, Nomar, Ramon Martinez, Fernando, Clayton Kershaw, of course Sandy, Lem Labine. Wow. He's done it all.
And 3 more still to come against the Giants this weekend. 0-2 to Peterson. Ball one.
When I sit here and I think about Vin, I have never asked, is he as nice as he seems to be? It already rings true. People already know, even behind the scenes, that he is a wonderful, wonderful man.
Team salute to him after the clincher on Sunday. Memorable day on so many levels. 2-2.
Just what a weekend. Just an incredible weekend. Starting with that ceremony on Friday and then ending with Sunday. And you can just see, just even right there as we were showing, it was just, everything was just so genuine.
Well, when Seager hit the home run with 2 outs in the 9th, it was like God didn't want Vin Scully to leave Dodger Stadium.
Yeah. Peterson pulls it right into the shift for out number 2. So Suaje, second baseman, who's backed up out there. Jock is 0 for 2. Vin's call of the walk-off home run for Culberson at 88 years old is still doing something that I'm not sure there's another soul in the world could pull off. His observation as the ball's flying out, the Dodgers are emptying out of the dugout. Incredible. I mean, he's always been known for the finest of details, incorporating those, but to do it and not hurry through it, to add that detail into the call, only Vin. Andre Ethier batting here in the 5th. This is in Kenta Maeda's spot against Paul Clemens. We've just gotten word from the team that everything's okay with Maeda, that this in fact was the plan for him to go a shorter distance with the 2 starts still remaining here in the regular season today and then the final day of the regular season. So walking that line of still getting your work in, still staying on schedule, but not wearing yourself down entering October.
Well, with the possibility of him being the Game 3 starter, which looks like he wanted to have the ball in his hand more often than once for a lot later in this year, so he's going to get it twice. And yes, that helps him out financially with the contract, but also that helps him out really with baseball. The more reps he can be out there, the more often before he has the long layoff, the better.
He threw 60 pitches and sharpened up after that first inning.
You know, one of the things that's hard for Dave Roberts, what he went through on Sunday, was to know that there was a rhythm to the post-game celebration and to tell the players what might happen and to kind of leak it out without having them lose focus. And he did a masterful job.
If you're down on strikes, the Dodgers down in order in the 5th. A weekend that none of us will ever forget.
Cam replay, kind of recapping Kenta Maeda's one at bat against Renfroe, which is the difference in the game now. 1-0 count, fastball up and in is called, and he doesn't really like it because it's probably for a ball to fall behind. Goes to the slider, and Renfroe takes that mistake that stayed over the middle plate for a 3-run homer off of Kenta. Later in the game, the next at bat, they do come inside and up and get themselves a little lazy pop-up fly ball to left. Probably a bad idea to shake it off, but a hitter they're just getting to know as he just got to the big leagues.
And just getting to know Alex Wood is a reliever. His second outing since his couple of months off. Missed all of June, all of July, all of August. So 3.5 months between outings. He was really coming on as a starting pitcher before he went down for that minor procedure. Howie Kendrick in the game now at first base, by the way. Adam Rosales to hit in the 9th spot. So the night is finished for Paul Clemens. Wood in his one relief outing so far. It was a perfect inning against San Francisco last week. And they would love to see him take control of a roll out of that bullpen entering the postseason. Ethier pinch hit last inning. He's in left. 1-1.
Alex Wood pitched out of the bullpen for the Atlanta Braves before he became a Dodger. He's got the mentality to be a reliever. His stuff plays up a little bit when he's out of the pen, not having to think he's going to go 7 innings and 100 pitches. And definitely trying to sing a tune out there during this audition and stay on key.
Well, we talked right before the game about how the Dodgers have something to play for down the stretch. and trying to keep that edge. And one, obviously, for home field advantage, and two, there are players still believing they're auditioning to try to make that playoff roster. And Alex Wood is definitely one of them. And when Alex Wood came back and we talked to him, he was saying he was so excited when he found out after his injury that he can be ready in September. And that was his whole focus and belief, saying if I can be ready in September, and if the Dodgers are where he believes they should be, and that's where they are now, that he could be a part of it down the stretch and make a difference, and possibly be playing in the postseason.
As a guy who could fill the role of a long man, he's not really a matchup guy against a left-handed hitter. Reverse splits, gets righties out better than lefties.
And he gets a righty out to begin this inning. Adam Rosales down on strikes. Do you know a standout high school senior athlete? Then nominate them for a chance to be named a Spectrum Sports Championship Drive Scholar Athlete and receive a $2,500 college scholarship. Go to SpectrumChamp.com now for more information. Back to the top of the order, and Travis Jankowski. Alex Wood out of Charlotte, North Carolina. Former Atlanta Brave, was a second-round pick out of Georgia. Came to the Dodgers midway through last season in that huge deal. 13 players were involved. And Alex, last year, the numbers were not good, but he was dealing with a nagging foot injury, nagging ankle injury that he suffered in his final game while he was with the Braves covering first base. So he wasn't himself health-wise in his time with the Dodgers last year. As he started to get healthier into this season, he looked better and better as the year went on. That's why the timing of his injury was such a bummer, because Alex Wood was really coming on.
In the offseason, he wanted to remake his mechanics, as that foot was giving him some flaws, he thought, in his delivery. He would send videos to Rick Honeycutt through the winter and say, do you agree with the changes I'm making, as he went through his workouts. And Rick loved to be in contact with him and study those with him and helped him out. And Alex came into camp very confident, because it was a full house as far as the rotation was concerned with the Dodgers. His quotes coming out of spring training when we got to spring were, I'm leaving here in the rotation and I don't want to get out of it. And boy, he came in, the breaking ball was sharper, the sinker was deeper and moving, and the velocity was playing up.
There's 3-2 to Jankowski. He's grounded up along first foul.
I was just thinking about what you said. Here we are, Dodgers. We know what they've gone through so far. They clinched the division. But at the beginning of spring training, they had a full house on the rotation.
They sure did. I mean, it was Clayton Kershaw, and Ryu was going to be coming back, and Brandon McCarthy was going to come back, and they had 8 guys or so vying for 5 spots.
Ethier's there, 2 gone.
But think about where we've gone. I mean, that whole rotation hit the DL. Anderson, Kazmir, Kershaw, Maeda, Ryu barely makes it back, doesn't really make it back.
Wood.
The
only one who did it was Maeda.
Brandon McCarthy for a short time. It's just unbelievable. The rotation was decimated, and there was more salary and better resumes on the DL most of the year.
Ball one on John Jay. What it's led to is 30 wins from rookie pitchers this year. It's the most for the Dodgers since 1952. 30 wins from rookies.
30 wins from rookies. 31 pitchers have pitched. 15 starters. 15 different starters. Great job by Gabe Kapler and the minor league development guys. These guys did not come up here bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and, oh, where am I? These guys came up here and were mentally tough. They were prepared not only physically with their pitching ability and their playing ability, the Culbersons and the Tolles and everybody else, the Segedins, but these guys were prepared mentally.
Let's go down to Alana Rizzo.
Well, there is a possibility, guys, that if necessary in the first round of the postseason, that TBD on Game 4 could be Julio Urias. Dave Roberts saying earlier today that the fact that they've really cut him back as far as innings were concerned in the month of September, they do feel confident that if need be, he could start game number 4 for them in the NLDS.
Which is, it's really interesting news today. I think you could kind of read that between the lines when you saw that the Dodgers were going to start him at the end of this series. 1-2 to John Jay. You know, the thought is when you see that, well, if they're going to do that, then if they're going to use him after you've already clinched, then that would lead you to think there's a good chance he could be the guy once October rolls around in that 4th starter role. Roberts saying, no, all that's locked in right now is that he's starting Thursday. 2-2 on John Jay. Alex Wood trying to work another perfect inning of relief. His 2-2 accomplishes that. Bookend strikeouts in this 1-2-3-5 for Wood. On to the 6th and a 3-1 game.
Dodgers, number 26, second baseman Chase Utley.
And he hammers another way back to right field. He is the man. So that is number 3 on, I guess, moments and wins of the year for the Dodgers. Chase Utley's return to Philadelphia. 2-home-run game. Standing ovation that lasted a couple of minutes prior to the game, prior to his first at bat. Chase Utley. And Jose Torres on the mound to greet him for his 3rd major league appearance. Just debuted last week.
The tongue-in-cheek moment in the Chase Utley home run and grand slam game was the guys discussing that'll probably be the only time you see a visiting player get a curtain call. Well, then the grand slam came.
Yeah.
And you got a second curtain call all in the same return home. And he has a new home now here in LA. He has made a huge impact in Dodger blue.
Torres brings him in 0-1. And Utley takes it high, 1-1. It was Ross Stripling and A.J. Ellis in the dugout that night. And A.J., the veteran, said to Ross, "You will never see that again," after the first home run.
Yep.
And then he hits his second, and Stripling looks at Ellis and goes, "You lied," after he got another curtain call on the road. A 1-1. Utley drives it foul, 1-2. We take a look at our Morongo Casino Resort and Spa slow-mo cam. Utley accountable for the lone Dodger run tonight with his 13th homer. Missile out to right.
You know, we've talked a lot about the Dodger chemistry and the change in culture, and this is a different team than the other ones that have won the division the other 3 years. I think the first step in changing the culture was the acquisition of Chase Utley. And then re-signing him in the offseason. And then Dave Roberts taking over and bringing his chemistry into the locker room. And it's just multiplied with the Dave Roberts persona and the Chase Utley toughness, the Adrian Gonzalez quiet leadership, Justin Turner's resume now growing into his personality being infectious in the locker room.
I always go back with Chase and his role in the leadoff spot to the very first at-bat of the season in this ballpark. Fouled off several pitches. It was something like an 8 or 9 pitch at-bat, and then he doubled. There's the count full here, and takes ball 4. And while it was just a leadoff double in just one game, it was almost like right then you knew everything was going to be okay in that leadoff spot, because that was such a question after Ethier went down.
And coming out of spring training, Dave Roberts' quotes about Chase Utley being up there were, "I just want to set a tone of a quality at bat and have that example there in the leadoff." Well, do you think he's fast enough? Do you think he can take the wear and tear? You know, is he really a typical leadoff hitter? It's like, well, we really don't have one. So that's who I want to set the tone.
Prior to this year, what did he have? Just like 11 at bats or something in the leadoff spot?
Yeah.
And it wasn't very many. And look what he has done this year.
Would have been Jimmy Rollins all those years in Philadelphia.
Very few guys with gray hair hit leadoff.
Yeah, good point. 1 ball and no strikes on Corey Seager. And here comes Torres. Seager hits a base hit to center. Utley holds on at second. 2 on and nobody out here in the 6th.
Very interesting the way the Padres were playing Corey Seager. I don't know if they've got the latest scouting report, but Corey Seager hits the ball everywhere. There's not many we've seen where not many teams are playing the shift, and you see there they have the shift on Corey Seager. If they had played him straight up, that might have been a potential double play there if they were just playing him regularly. And that's, you know, when you look at the way Corey Seager swings the bat and hits the ball to all fields, more and more teams are playing him that way.
191 hits for him now, and it's not out of the question to think that Seager could reach 200 here in the regular season. It's not happened for the Dodgers in 12 years. Adrian Beltre had 200 hits in 04. So now Turner representing the go-ahead run in the 6th inning, taking strike 1. Justin's 0 for 2. Red hot finish to that Colorado series. 7 hits over the last 3 games.
Don't think that the Dodgers are just phoning it in. They're just playing. Nationals have already won. They're 1 game back from having home field advantage against the Nats. So they don't have to catch them and pass them. They just got to catch them. They're only 1 game back. So to win tonight, tell you what, there's a lot of focus with beating these Padres. 25 games over 500 the Dodgers are at home. 1 game under 500 on the road.
The 1-1. In the air to right. Renfroe's there. 1 out. Utley heading for third. Here's Renfroe's throw. Goes off a pretty good arm, but Utley's in there safe.
We were talking right before the game about Hunter Renfroe, we were talking about how well he did in AAA. He was the MVP of the PCL this year. We were talking about, well, we'll have to see how he is on the defensive side. Well, I'll tell you what, he's got a good arm. Wow.
Howie Kendrick's first at bat of the night. He replaces Adrian Gonzalez defensively in the bottom of the 5th. Kendrick shoots it foul, strike one. Trying to get him going again. That 4-hit game against San Diego to begin September, but below 200 since. Two on and one out. A 2-run game in the 6th. Torres to Kendrick with an 0-1. Ball one.
Not enough can be said about Howie Kendrick and his contribution to this winning season. Also, the attitude that he took and shifting around the 3rd, losing the starting job at 2nd, going to left, becoming the everyday left fielder today. Now scooting over to first base for Adrian. The organization is going through where everybody can play, and when we get down to 25 guys for the playoff roster, what are the movable parts, and are the guys comfortable there, and especially comfortable in do or die situations in the playoffs?
Torres a 2-1. Kendrick takes ball 3.
It's one thing to put a strange guy at a strange position in the regular season. It's another thing in the playoffs.
Howie Kendrick, how valuable has he been? I remember throughout this year, there was at one point in this year, 4 different positions in 4 days in a row.
Yeah.
Started in 4 different positions.
That roster does get narrowed to 25. That is so key to have guys that can do that. Good hitters count. See if he gets one to hammer. 3-1. They walked him. And the bases are loaded here in the 6th.
Last year, the roster was made up of 14 everyday players and 11 pitchers. It'll be interesting to see as we get through these games how we start to narrow down what side of the equation it will fall on as far as pitchers and everyday players.
And the pitching coach, Darren Balsley, comes out to talk with Jose Torres. So you think what we're seeing here with Kendrick is basically an audition to see if he can be the guy to be the backup?
I think they know he can play first. I think they're going to get everybody at all these different places so that they are not only a flexible piece but a comfortable piece. It's not been a month since he's been over there at first in a game.
And I'll tell you, I think they feel comfortable with Howie Kendrick wherever they throw. He's proven that. He's shown that. He does. And then also just his demeanor. I think they're comfortable with Howie anywhere they put him. And in the postseason, a guy who's been in the postseason, a veteran. So they know the moment isn't going to overwhelm him.
How about a bases loaded situation for Grandal? One of those 2 grand slams came in the last week. Ball 1, nowhere close to the spot that Hedges wanted it. It was against Colorado's Boone Logan. It was a go-ahead shot. Both grand slams come this season for Grandal. That one won that game. This one could win this game if he could do it. On 1-0. Swings and misses at 93, 1-1. Trying to do it to his former team with Utley at 3rd, Seager at 2nd, and Kendrick at 1st. Torres ready for a 1-1, and Grandal fouls it off 1-2.
16th in the National League in home runs. With a few from the right side, mostly from the left, though. He is swinging a hot bat from both sides right now.
16th in homers overall, but you go back to the end of June and he's number 1 in the National League in homers in that time frame. With the bases loaded in the 6th, he waits on a 1-2 and pops it up into short right. Renfroe comes on and makes the catch. Utley hangs on at third, and to be up to Josh Reddick.
The Dodgers have definitely had their opportunities in this game. You know, Kenta Maeda, he made that one mistake. That was in the first inning when he gave up that 3-run home run to Hunter Renfroe. But after that, he settled down. He's kept the Dodgers in this game to try to come back. The Dodgers have had some opportunities, even in that first inning. Chase Utley led off with a double, and they couldn't score him. And after that at bat, they are 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position.
Josh Reddick taking ball 1. We showed you Grandal's grand slam from a week ago. This said last night, but that was Saturday against Colorado. So both those guys, Grandal and Reddick, coming up back to back here with the bases loaded. Opportunities at a second grand slam in 1 week. 2-0. Utley at third. He walked to start the inning. Seager's at second after singling. Kendrick at first. He walked as well. And on 2-0, Reddick takes strike 1. Jose Torres made his major league debut on Friday this past weekend, and then turned 23 the next day. The lefty's 2-1 to Josh Reddick. On the edge, 2-2. Dodgers trying to keep pace with the Nationals, fighting for home field advantage in the NLDS. Nationals winners already tonight, so the deficit behind the Nats 1.5. 5 left to play after tonight. 2-2. And the count is full. Kike Hernandez would bat. This inning continue. Runners take off on a 3-2, and Reddick hits it foul. Do it again. Torres trying to retire one of the hottest hitters in the majors here in September. Reddick is 1 for 2 tonight. Hitting around 400 this month. Another payoff. And he swung at ball 4. And knew it right away.
The good thing for him is when you know it and you still get a piece of it and you're still alive. Those are oftentimes those ones where you know it and you're trying to hold up and you swing underneath the ball and you're angry with yourself.
Another 3-2. And he fouls off another. It was a little bit closer. Continues to work against Torres with the tying run in scoring position and the go-ahead run at first here in the 6th.
Last couple pitches, Torres has been trying to get the ball low and away. He's made mistakes to the inner half for a ball, but fouled off, and then that one right down the middle. He doesn't want to go to the edge. He does not want to walk him. He's just trying to challenge him in his mind.
9th pitch of the at-bat from Torres, and Reddick fouls another.
That one was more down the middle of the plate, but that one had some movement at the very end. It had a nice little tail, which Reddick was able just to get a piece of it.
Seager, Utley, and Tolles are glad, or Howie, glad they got an off day because they've been sprinting around the bases through all these foul balls.
The 10th pitch of the AB to Josh Reddick. Popped up. Torres gets out of the jam, and the Dodgers leave him loaded in the 6th. Offers on our most exciting lineup ever. Shop online at choosenissan.com. And by Children's Hospital Los Angeles, we treat kids better.
Well, welcome back to the bottom half of the 6th inning as the Dodgers are trailing 3-1. And Brock Stewart taking the hill for the Dodgers. The last time he pitched was back on the 17th of this month, and that was at Arizona, where he ended up starting that game and going 5 innings, allowing 5 hits and just 2 runs.
So Brock Stewart, one of the many rookies that's contributed to that nearly record-setting total of wins this year, 30 by rookie pitchers, second only to the 1955 team. Or 1952, beg your pardon. Will Myers will lead it off. 3, 4, and 5. Padres trying to extend this 3-1 lead. All 3 runs coming off Hunter Renfroe's home run in the first. In fact, the Padres don't have a hit since then. The only base runner came when Yangervis Solarte was hit. Myers happy to see anybody other than Maeda in there. Kenta struck him out both times. It has continued to be one of the issues for Myers. His high strikeout totals. And was in the home run derby here in San Diego this year. He had his brother Bo pitch to him, and Bo hit him. He got hit by a pitch in the home run derby. Stewart's 1-1. Myers pops it up back of third with Justin Turner. There is out number 1. We want to send our congratulations to one of the lead men at Sportsnet LA, Jared Stacy, and his wife Caitlin, who gave birth to baby boy Shane Patrick Stacy. So Sasha has a little brother now. Congratulations to Jared and to Caitlin and to Sasha. Knowing Jared, he's probably Probably tuning into Dodger baseball right now. Solarte taking a ball. Might be rocking the baby while he's tuning into Dodger baseball, but
I mean, is there anything better?
No. No, I can attest these last few months. Here's a 1-0. Solarte shanks it to left. Ethier not going to get there. Solarte holds on with a long single.
My son Jordan was born in the '88 season and September 15th, and the doctor's name was Michael Jordan. We induced labor, and it was during the Dodger game, so we were talking baseball.
Wow.
The whole time. Wife's in labor, they're waiting for the drugs to take effect, and we're sitting over in the corner talking baseball.
I'm sure
she didn't leave.
She appreciated that.
She got great care. He never left the room. We just talked baseball until it was time to have the baby.
Here's Renfroe. That was, of course, right in the middle of the scoreless inning streak, Oral, which was the anniversary of that tomorrow of 59.
Yeah, we're a day early. Yeah.
And it was here in San Diego.
It was in San Diego.
Over at Qualcomm.
Exactly. It's also the anniversary of Ted Williams playing in the doubleheader. To hit 406, was it?
Mm-hmm.
He got the opportunity to hold his average at 400, and he said, no, I'm playing.
Stewart to Renfroe with an 0-1 pitch. And cracked on the ground to Turner. They go to second for one, and to first for two. Around the horn to get Renfroe and bring this sixth inning to a close. See if the bats can get it going. Down 3-1 as we go to the late innings. Number two, win number two of the 2016 regular season, because we hope there are several that are going to top this list. But that was in Colorado back in August. Andrew Toles with a grand slam to cap the huge comeback. A 3 in the 8th, and then the grand slam there in the 9th. You know what I love about that clip is Andrew Toles giving it the old Sammy Sosa gone hop right after he swings, like he crushed it into the second deck. It got out by like a foot, and he's giving it the hop like he knows it's gone to the opposite field.
It was a priceless interview after that game when Alana, the post-game interview with him. think he was so excited that he still didn't know where he was at.
Kevin Quackenbush. Jose Torres warmed up for this inning, but then Andy Green came out after his warm-ups and took it from him, gave it to Quackenbush. There's a great article in LA Times today that Andy McCullough wrote about Andrew Toles. This magical ride of a season for him. Toles, of course, was out of baseball last year. Signed with the Dodgers this offseason. Started the season in A-ball, flew through the minors. Made his major league debut in late June, but he talked about how the entire family now has this group text. Started out just Andrew and his sister, and then his mom and his dad were at it, but now there's aunts and uncles and cousins on this text chain. Back east with the later start times for Dodger baseball. They're all staying up and all communicating through those text messages. His sister, former collegiate basketball player, is now on the women's basketball staff at Kent State University in Ohio. His mom played collegiately. His dad played in the NFL. They're all united now on this text chain and all galvanized by Andrew's major league career. An unlikely one after he was out of baseball for a full year.
How great would it be to play in a game? You're not around your phone. You go in there, you have a great game, and then go back and watch the conversation among your family while you were doing it.
How blown up was his phone after that grand slam?
I'm sure he just hit do not disturb.
No, he removed himself from the conversation.
Exactly. I'm out.
Yeah, I know somebody who does that now and then, Nomar.
Yeah, Nomar.
There's Kike leading off this inning. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Nomar has this irrational hatred for group texts. Maybe it's not irrational, but it's heavy.
I'm sure I'm not alone out there.
No, I know. So irrational was the wrong word, but significant. Bottom part of the Dodger order in this inning. And a breaking ball misses up, 2-2. So the Dodgers already have clinched the division. Still plenty to play for here in San Diego, though. And I think it's kind of fun, even with the tangible piece that they're playing for, which is to try and get home field advantage. And what has been a really special season across the board to kind of relive some of the moments. We're looking at these top 5 games of the year. That'll be up for debate. What was missing? It's always fun to look back on a story that writes itself over 162 games.
Well, 90 wins and you're only choosing 5, so there's going to be some debate.
Quackenbush with a payoff, and Hernandez with a walk to start the 7th. Join the 2017 Dodger family by signing up now for the season seat or mini plan wait list. Registered fans will be contacted by a Dodger season ticket rep on a first-come, first-served basis. Be sure to visit Dodgers.com/season tickets or call 866-DODGERS today. So one batter Quackenbush will face. Andy Green back into his bullpen. A 3-1 game in the 7th. LA is brought to you by BMW. See a Southern California BMW Center today for exceptional offers or visit SoCalBMW.com. We will miss you too. That is for sure. Here in San Diego, Dodgers trailing the Padres 3-1, but trying to catch lightning in a bottle here with Yasiel Puig representing the tying run. Dave Roberts sending him up there to face Buddy Bauman. His 10th major league appearance after 7+ seasons in the minors, debuting this year as a 28-year-old. And he rifles one inside, ball one on Puig. Comes a 1-0. It's fouled off 1-1. Got Hedges in the hand. A 1-1, and Puig behind it. 1-2. George Charles Bauman goes by Buddy. He's out of Illinois originally, played his college ball at Missouri State. He's drafted by Kansas City, toiled in the minors for 8 seasons before making his debut earlier this year. And his 1-2 to Puig. Got him swinging.
Just went right after Puig after getting 2 strikes, climbing the ladder, going at him with a fastball. On that second strike, when Puig swung at it and fouled it off, it was kind of a half-hearted swing. It looked like he was a little bit indecisive, and then he just climbed the ladder and got it.
Andre Ethier struck out his first time up there in place of Kenta Maeda. Pinch hitting for Kenta in the 5th. Ethier trying to earn himself a spot on the postseason roster. Dave Roberts giving him every opportunity to. 1-1. Boy, that 90 is sneaky.
Stays closed a long time, gets down the hill, and then all of a sudden the arm and the ball appear, and it's late picking it up.
Ethier in the air to left. John Jay for out number 2.
Alana doing her pregame work down in the media scrum with Dave Roberts, and she asked most of the questions early on, and she asked Dave about the hard conversations that are coming. And that was Dave's response, that there's going to be a lot of hard conversation with this roster as these guys continue to, almost like a tryout these last 6 games, to see who's going to get on the roster.
No question about this guy, who has reached all 3 times tonight, doubled in the 1st, homered in the 3rd, walked in the 6th. That walk for Chase led off the 6th. The Dodgers had the bases loaded but couldn't score.
My wife Dana and Alana and I went to lunch today, and we were grinding over the playoff roster at lunch.
Does Dana think extra pitcher or position player?
You know, she was really concentrating on her spaghetti.
Okay.
With blackened chicken. It was Alana and I that were really grinding on the playoff roster.
We'll have plenty of talk about that roster as this series rolls on and the postseason gets closer. Here's a 1-0. 2 balls, no strikes. tough, but it's a good problem to have for Dave Roberts in this front office, trying to make those decisions. And you can reset after each series. On 2-0. Utley skies it back of the plate. Hedges gives it a look, but it's in the seats, and it's 2-1.
Let's just fast forward past this year and go into next spring training. Think about how many guys are going to come into camp thinking they could be on the big league team.
Yeah.
Use 55 players this year. So 15 beyond the 40 that are here have played in a Dodger uniform this year.
I also think about the young guys that are going. Listen, I have a chance. The way they call up young guys, the way they believe in them.
Dave Roberts' first meeting when the whole squad is together after the pitchers and catchers report early, and then the whole squad is together, when he says it takes the whole organization to win a championship and we're going to use everybody, it's going to ring real true. I've been in there with those meetings, and you have Nomar too, where you kind of at that point are kind of rolling your eyes a little bit.
Here's a 2-2 to Utley instead of look at first. Now Buddy's ready. Stirrups and all. Full count. And so Hernandez will get a head start from first. Ball in the gap could make this a one-run game. Check in with Alana Rizzo.
The messages at spring training was just that it's going to take the entire organization to win a championship. Another message that Dave Roberts and his coaching staff gave to this team in Glendale in February is that we may not out-talent them, but we will outwork them. Felt that a couple of the years in the past, perhaps this team had a lot more talent than other clubs, but this year he makes sure nobody outworks his guys.
On 3-2, Utley takes ball 4. The tying run reaches here in the 7th, and Dave told Alana before the game today, wishing it down at the media session, but one of the things that has meant the most to him was a couple of days ago hearing Adrian Gonzalez quoted as saying that same thing, that in years past we've tried to out-talent people. This year we've outplayed them.
For sure. And you know what? It really has come true, because when Clayton Kershaw goes down June 26th, no longer with the team on June 27th as far as on the DL, they all had to go a little bit harder, and they did.
Strike one on Corey Seager. And lost that bat, got a chunk of Lance Barrett. Got all of Lance Barrett. Oh. Lance Barrett is somewhat of an umpiring prodigy. Made his major league debut as a 25-year-old. "31 years old now, originally from Texas. Great to see him okay to stay in there. Scary, brief moment. 2 on, 2 out. Here's an 0-1, and Seager grounds it to second for a Suaje. The Dodgers, going back to Saturday against Colorado, are 0 for their last 18 with runners in scoring position. because they await the Dodgers in the NLDS. They're dealing with injuries. Their superstar Bryce Harper hurt his thumb the other day. And then just recently, Wilson Ramos, a fellow All-Star, tore his ACL on a seemingly normal play at home. Came down odd with the rain falling, a little bit slip conditions. He's finished. Mike Rizzo, the GM, said today Steven Strasburg probably will not pitch in the NLDS. Daniel Murphy's been dealing with something. So while these guys are going to be the East Division champions, the best team in that division all year, the team that the Dodgers see in the postseason will not be the same group that's gotten them these 90+ wins. Josh Fields comes in to pitch the bottom of the 7th.
I was just looking at that play for Bryce Harper, and he ended up jamming his thumb. Kids, for you at home, that's something you don't do. You don't fake a tag when a guy's going in like that. That's just not part of the game. There's a difference between when you deke somebody if there's actually a play coming to you, and sometimes you act like it's not coming and then you catch it to try to get him out. Or sometimes you say if a guy's stealing second base and he's sliding and you act like it's at you because it went by you and you don't want him to get the extra base. But if the play's not there to force a guy, whether he's got to slide like that or not, and you deke and fake a tag like that and cause an injury, that's just something you don't do.
Jung Ho Kang, Pirates third baseman, is guilty of it. Swahe fouls it off 1-2.
It's another reason why the Washington Nationals retaliated.
Yeah. They threw the ball behind him. Next at bat. You'll see Chase Utley pick up on those details an awful lot around second base on a ball that's hit, or Corey Seager will do the same thing where they fake like the ball is still in the infield and they're going to turn a double play, but they do it early enough to try and get the guy to slide at second base so he doesn't go first to third.
And Field strikes out as Swahe for the first out of the 7th.
You'll see third baseman act like the ball's not coming, but it actually is, to get a guy to come in and stand up, and then the ball arrives and they quickly put the tag on him standing up.
I've done that numerous times at second base, especially hit the ball to right field because the runner can't see the ball behind him and act like it's not coming. It's a good throw, so they do slow down thinking, and then but that one there was just no play to try to cause them to do exactly what happened.
Austin Hedges, ball 1.
The mystery will be the Dodgers facing Scherzer, because they haven't. They beat him 5 out of 6 this year, but they have never faced Max. And so that, with the roster depleted with the injuries, that's a good thing for the Dodgers, but they still haven't faced their ace.
And then the question for Washington without Strasburg becomes who pitches games 2 and 3 and so on. I think you know who they will pitch, but in what order.
And I think it'll depend on if they start at home or the Dodgers start at home. Of the three, as far as the mental makeup or the anxiety factor, I would think that Scherzer, Roark were a little higher up the line than kind of Gio Gonzalez has been a little jumpy out there. Has lost a little confidence, hasn't had a very good year. But then again, they might want to move him up because of being left-handed. Whoever pitches in game 2, you might be able to bring back in relief in game 5. And if you want an extra left-hander in your Nationals bullpen, they might think about starting him game 2.
Sky high pop up that has Grandal tossing the mask and making the catch.
You know, as Grandal tosses the mask, you have Justin Turner coming in. He has to be aware of the mask because usually Justin Turner is looking up at it, and Grandal kind of tosses it to where he is. You don't need anything happening there. Watch this. Watch where this ball goes up. There's Grandal. He has it. Watch Justin Turner. He's looking at Grandal, but now looking at, nope, here comes the mask. Get out of the way. Avoid it. Whew.
Lost A.J. Ellis on a mask incident. Clayton Kershaw, or was it Josh Beckett's no-hitter?
Yeah.
Luis Sardinas, strike one. Just taking a look at the Nationals bullpen, what they have as far as left-handers. Got Oliver Perez, but he's got an ERA above 5. It's not been a good year for him. Sammy Solis has been really good out of the pen for him as a left-hander. Same with Mark Zepchinski. But then the only other left-handers they have are recent call-ups that would be borderline to make that 25-man postseason roster. So you're looking at Gio Gonzalez in the rotation, and then Perez, Solis, Zepchinski. Lefties out of the Washington pen.
Their closer is Mark Melanson. A real overpowering closer, right-hander.
Over from the Pirates. And if you've not been following the Nationals closely this year, then it may come as a surprise that Bryce Harper is not the Bryce Harper of 2015 when he put up those iconic numbers to win MVP. Harper's only hitting .244.
So you have over 25 home runs, though? Right there,
24.
24. Some 85-ish RBIs.
Exactly 85, yeah. The guy's been Daniel Murphy. Daniel Murphy trying to win a batting title right there neck and neck with DJ LeMahieu. But again, Murphy has been banged up lately.
And Ramos, who just went down, made an all-star team.
Right.
Having a career year.
The 3 all-star position players, Harper, Murphy, Ramos, all hurt right now. Ramos out. Murphy and Harper is banged up. 2-2 on Sardinas.
So both those pitches, and Grandal really wanted those balls in the dirt. Where his glove was down there, letting Josh Field know, I want that breaking ball down.
Full count. The base is empty and 2 gone in the 7th. Sardinas checks on Kendrick at first. Gets some good work in, having to move to his right to backhand that ball, and feeds Fields the Kappa 1-2-3-7. By attending Dodgers Fantasy Camp at Camelback Ranch in Glendale, Arizona. That's a spring training home of the Dodgers and the White Sox. It's in mid-January, 15th to the 21st, 2017. It's a once-in-a-lifetime experience. You've got to go to Dodgers.com/fantasycamp today to learn more. Brad Hand is having a great season for San Diego in his first year as a Padre, and he pours in a strike to Justin Turner. Padres claim handoff waivers from the Marlins right at the start of the season. Didn't make the roster with Miami out of spring training. It's been one of the bright spots in this Padres season. Turner golfs one, and in left it's John Jay. Pretty good crowd here tonight, 27,000 plus. They've continued to draw okay in San Diego despite the losing season, and of course when the Dodgers are in town there's always a lot of blue here.
I would say Moore took the trek down after all the excitement over the weekend with Vinny and the Culberson walk-off in the 10th and the celebration. Can't get enough of Dodger baseball. Drive down to San Diego. A couple more games here.
And speaking of fan support, we're talking about those 5 wins. I'd argue one of the 5 wins would be that Yankee game. I know they won, but just the fact the way fans took over Yankee Stadium and the way they did that and the support, and that would be one of my top 5s just because the way they came out and just even the players talked about how great that was and that support, and says a lot about how great Dodger fans are.
Pantone 294, that traveling group. If you ever wanted to paint something in your house Dodger blue, you'd go to the paint store and ask for that. Pantone 294. Kendrick down swinging.
Some breaking ball right there. The movement on this. Wow.
Two gone for Grandal. Yeah, and that one slipped out of Hand's hand. Ball 1. Didn't even plan that.
I was just going to leave it alone.
Yeah. Yasmani 0 for 3 today. Waits on this 1-0. Hits it on the ground. Foul. 1-1. Well, the remainder of this series, Jose De Leon takes it for the Dodgers tomorrow against Luis Perdomo. Filthy stuff. It's just, where is it going in Perdomo's case? He's 8-10 with a .559 this year, but he's a Rule 5 guy, and they love his potential, so they can't send him to the minors, because if they do that, they'd have to offer him back where he came from. Here's a 1-1. And a strike. 1-2 on Grandal. Julio Urias hits the ball in the finale for the Dodgers before they tee up their top 3 over the weekend in San Francisco.
I guess the Rule 5 draft and with Perdomo is kind of the modern day version of Sandy Koufax bonus baby. Can't send him down because you lose him, and Sandy signed for so much that the Dodgers had to put him on the big league roster, and he had his control problems early on, but great potential that was finally shown later as one of the greatest ever.
Just misses. It's full. Really, it was half of Sandy's career. He was, potential was the word, before he reached the back half. And he captured something for the final years. 3-2. Grandal fouls it off.
I remember reading some things on Sandy, and he walked by Walt Alston when he was frustrated not getting to pitch or start, and he said, what's it take to get a start around here? And Walt Alston said, somebody who throws it over the plate. Then Norm Sherry in a B game in spring training told him to kind of back off. Let's see how easy you can throw hard. And that was a phrase that Sandy even used with me and a lot of other Dodgers in spring training when he taught us pitching. And that turned his career and his life around, because all of a sudden he did back off and kind of went at it about 80%. It smoothed out his mechanics, but the ball jumped out of his hand just as much, but all of a sudden he had control. And so when he used to work with us in spring training on our mechanics and our leverage, he would see all this effort, and everybody wanted to throw great for Sandy Koufax, but he would come up and kind of whisper in your ear, come on, see how easy you can throw hard.
First time that he took Sherry's advice, it was a B game in spring training, and the guy that was supposed to piggyback Koufax, something happened with his flight or his travel where he couldn't get there, and so Sandy said, well, this is the B game. All the brass is over at the A game. Maybe this is a spot where I work on it, take a little off so he can go deeper in the game. He threw 7 no-hit innings, and he was a different guy moving forward. He took the grunt out of it. That's the way he put it then.
Yeah, they may have been at the A game, but they heard all about the B game.
That's right. He was struggling so much that Willie Mays overheard the conversation about what's it take to get a start, because they happened to be walking in the same tunnel. And Willie said to somebody, I hope they give up on him. We'll go get him. Wow.
10th pitch of this AB to Yasmani Grandal. And he walks. Heck of a trip up there for Grandal. Keeps his inning going. And brings the tying run to the plate for the Dodgers. It'll be in the form of Carlos Ruiz to pinch hit. This is the reason the Dodgers acquired this guy. Left-handed pitching. Long-time Philadelphia Philly. Over late this season. First one from Brad Hand to Carlos Ruiz. And he takes it low, ball one. Ruiz toiled away in the minors for 8 seasons before he debuted when he was 27 years old for the Phillies. Late bloomer. On 1-0. He swings through it. 1-1. Signed out of Panama back in 1998 as a second baseman. Tried out for the Phillies as a second baseman, and it was actually the Phillies scouts that suggested he give catching a try. Boy, are they glad that they gave him that advice, and I'm sure he is too. 1-2.
Most scouts will tell players that they see as future catchers, or they want to convince them to be a catcher, that it's the quickest way to the big leagues.
True or not, they probably tell him just to convince them to say, yeah. They're probably thinking, you're crazy. I'm not going back there. You see the punishment you have to take? Like, quickest way to the big leagues. Okay.
Give it a try.
I'll go through the pain.
7 years later. See, I told you.
Now he was 27 when he got that first major league opportunity. Now in his 11th year, 37 years old, and waiting on a 2-2 from Brad Hand. Dribbled to the left side. Solarte's got a candy hop and throws him out. To the bottom of the 8th we go, with the Padres in front, 3-1. play tonight. Jock Peterson way back in the first inning. And this great running catch. This is your top tier play brought to you by Arco. He was replaced out there in center by Yasiel Puig recently. And Josh Fields warmed up, and then Dave Roberts went out there and will make a pitching change. We'll take a break with them as Dave Roberts goes back into that bullpen. Is the MLB.com at-bat app, the #1 app for live baseball. You can enjoy game day, live game video highlights, StatCast, news, and plenty more. Get MLB.com at-bat on your favorite devices now. Grant Dayton comes in. Look at those numbers. It's shocking that this guy took as long as he did to find the majors, because all he's done since he's got here is dominate.
You know, the domination is not completely velocity, it's not completely movement, but I would say the #1 tool is the fact that he can really hit the glove consistently.
And well, Margot, and another one of these guys for the Padres. It's just recently debuted. For Margot, debut was last Wednesday. One day short of his 22nd birthday. Leads off the 8th inning by taking a breaking ball for a strike. Yet another piece that came over in the Craig Kimbrell deal this offseason. Word is the Padres were not going to do that deal without Margot involved. And like Hunter Renfroe, he's wearing a number in the 70s. Renfroe had 71. Margot has 70. As if to say, we know you guys are a big deal as far as prospects, but don't get too comfy yet.
In spring training, when there's a possible trade going on and scouts are coming over to scout your minor league system again, organizations have been known to change numbers of their prospects on a daily basis so the scouts of the opposing teams can't find them.
That's awesome.
You got a trade going down because you got a roster that's too full. Other organizations know that you're going to have to be letting some big leaguers go, so you're going to trade the guy early so they don't have to go out and try and sign him as a free agent. They actually get something for him, but they start moving the prospects around and changing their numbers on a daily basis so the scouts can't find him and get the cross-checker with the final reference of who they want.
I think that's within the baseball code, right? It's understood everybody can do that, but
gamesmanship, a little finesse.
The stuff that's gone on here, though, in San Diego has not fallen under that code. If you've not been following that, it's a pretty big story around here with their GM, A.J. Preller, is currently serving a 30-day suspension without pay, is passed down by Major League Baseball. Dayton strikes out Margot for the first out of the 8th. So Major League Baseball investigated how San Diego handled the medical information while doing the Drew Pomerantz deal to Boston. Allegedly, they had separate medical records in one database from the one that everybody in the majors shared. Now, anytime you do anything, medically speaking, whether that's hopping in the hot tub or icing, anything like that, that goes in this database that anybody can access. So everybody's dealing with the same information when you're looking at doing trades. Ball one on Jankowski. But the Padres, Major League Baseball found, had their own database where they were tracking other information and withholding some of the information in the Major League database. Here's a 1-0 to Jankowski. And it's a strike. Boston didn't find out that Pomerantz was taking some kind of oral remedy for elbow discomfort until after the deal was made. And now you're looking at Drew Pomerantz dealing with injury issues towards the end of the season in Boston. Here's a 1-1. Yeah, there's ball 2. So 30-day suspension. A lot of people thought it should have been longer. There's no word if it was the same. No word if there was the same issue on Colin Ray, who was dealt to the Marlins and then blew out his elbow in his very first start after the Padres dealt him. They sent him right back, though, a few days later. And the Marlins had said that everything was released in that deal, that there was no funny business there. But not a good look for the Padres.
And will other clubs and other GMs deal with the Padres if he comes back and he's the active GM? How will that hamstring them as far as being able to maneuver the roster this offseason?
Jankowski fooled on a fastball that was up, and Dayton has back-to-back Ks to start his night.
That one with Ray, though, they also switched players back as well. So it wasn't just him going over there, hurting his elbow, and then sending him back. They also, there were certain players who were part of that trade that they also switched back as well.
That was the Andrew Kashner deal. It was the prime piece that went over there to Miami. John Jay, but the base is empty and 2 gone. Jay pushes a bunt to Turner. Bare hands, throws it away. Into the seats. Jay will get second.
Justin Turner did a great job barehanding it, but when he barehanded it, it didn't look like he had the right grip on the ball. It looked like when he got it with his hands, you see it was almost slipping out. You can tell it was even like almost at his fingertips. He didn't get it like you would normally throw the ball with those 2 fingers behind it. And he was just kind of forcing it over there, hoping that he could throw that on target.
And Dave Roberts is going to take Grant Dayton out and bring Lewis Coleman in. 3-1 game in the 8th. Back to San Diego in a moment. 2 gone here in the 8th, and the Dodgers down 3-1.
You wouldn't think with somebody with 59 games under their belt, a great part of this Dodger bullpen would be auditioning, but I think Lewis thinks he is. There's so many arms down there in the bullpen that have a chance to make this playoff roster, and Lewis has not had a very good September at all, an ERA above 8. And so he is looking to have a good taste left in Rick Honeycutt, Dave Roberts, and the front office's mouth when it comes to them making the decisions.
Here's Will Myers taking ball 1. Myers is 0 for 3 tonight. A couple of strikeouts and a pop out. 25-year-old All-Star. It's way up and in. 2-0. Couple of former Royals. Bruce Coleman spent his entire career in Kansas City and in the Kansas City system before coming over to the Dodgers. Myers was a draft pick of the Royals. Traded to Tampa Bay before he debuted. Quickly 3-0. They traded him to Tampa Bay with Jake Odorizzi, who's now part of the rotation there for the Rays. That was for James Shields and Wade Davis. Went from Tampa Bay to Kansas City. And then from Tampa Bay to San Diego prior to last season. You know who else was involved in that deal was Trey Turner. Went here from San Diego to Washington. And has dominated in his first season in the majors. Hasn't been in the majors long enough to contend for Rookie of the Year. But the body of work, if it were extended over a full season, Trey Turner's year would be giving Corey Seager some contention for that Rookie of the Year honor.
Going into today, had 98 hits. I think he was hitting around 340. I have a tough time prying it out of that kid's head. I think it's a slam dunk that he's going to be Rookie of the Year.
Green lighted him, 3-1. It'll be the 17th Rookie of the Year in Dodger blue. Nobody else has more than 8. Of the first one since the 90s. Myers walks.
Well, the 90s were quite a year for Rookie of the Year, or decade for the Dodgers. 92 to 96. Probably an unbreakable record of consecutive Rookies of the Year, from Eric Karros to Mike Piazza to Mondesi to Nomo and then Todd Hollinsworth.
They had a stretch with 4 consecutive Rookies of the Year in the 70s into the 80s.
Was that including Steve Sachs, maybe?
He was the 4th.
Was in there.
Yeah. Howe and
Steve
Sutcliffe.
Howe. Yeah.
The others. Here's Solarte, and there's ball 1. Closest the Dodgers have been since Hollinsworth, you mentioned at the back end of those 5 in a row in 96. Closest they've had to a Rookie of the Year since 96 was Puig in 2013, finishing runner-up to Jose Fernandez. We've not had a chance to mention it, but how moving of a night was that last night in Miami.
Very sad.
I was watching that. I was watching the highlights as they were going over it, and I needed the tissues, definitely.
Yeah. A 2-0. It's outside on Solarte. 3 balls, no strikes. They have Jose Fernandez jersey hanging in there. That's all the teams do. Dee Gordon, who hit the leadoff home run in the very first at bat in the first game back for the Marlins, he said It was the greatest moment of his life, being able to hit that home run in Jose's honor. Solarte walks. And the bases are loaded for the Padres, trying to add on to this 3-1 lead. And it's Hunter Renfroe, whose 3-run homer in the first inning has accounted for all of the Padres scoring in this game. Trying to break it open with Jay at third, Myers at second, and Solarte at first. Coleman struggling to find the zone. Here's a 1-0. That's outside.
Lewis trying to dot that outside corner with his slider, and then he likes to bring the four-seamer up and in. That's the ball that they've gotten Renfroe out with, the fastball up and in. But it's hard to go there now when you're down 2-0 in the count. You have to use the fat of the plate.
Down the left field line, but he hooked it foul, and it's 2-1.
Take a little off, put a little on, but you got to get it near the strike zone or in it.
And as a hitter, when you were 2-0 bases low, no better position to be in. And this is a big pitch too for a hitter. I'm thinking if it's a ball that puts me back in that 3-run count.
Just foul, 2-2.
Lewis right now is just below good hitting speed. The slider's got him out in front, the fastball in, he's out in front turning on it. It's almost like 90 miles an hour is good hitting speed. 87 and 80 with the slider is not. Still got a chance to keep changing speeds on him. I don't think you turn the field no more. I think you got to go something soft. He's jumping and out front. Throw something hard middle away, you're going to turn the field. He's going to be able to keep it fair.
Full count.
And only two pitches for me. The 3-2 slider for a strike, or up and right down the middle to get him to pop it up.
Well, with a slider for a strike, and we'll do it again.
You'd love to come up and in if you're going to do the fastball, but you probably get a flinch, take it, because he's diving out there to get the slider. So that's why I said up and down the middle. Because if he is diving and looking low for that slider to get a good read on it, then you might get him to pop up that fastball.
Drilled to deep center. Puig goes back over his head and gone. Grand slam. It is Hunter Renfroe's night.
That's a good piece of hitting right there. He does decide to go to the fastball and try and beat him. It looked like he's trying to go a long way, threw it right down the middle. It wasn't up, but it was out over the plate, and that did turn the field. He's not out in front of that. He hits it right square center field.
And it's a really good job by a young hitter. Oftentimes, after you already have a 3-run home run and you pull that one down the left field line, you take two swings over the course of that bat and you pull them. And after you pull them and you pull them hard, and now you know you're in a hitter's count where he has to throw a strike. Oftentimes as a hitter, you might get even a little bit pull happy, think I can drive it out to left field, but him staying on it and driving it to center says a lot about his approach as a hitter.
A 2 homers, 7 RBI night for Hunter Renfroe. And a pop up to Ethier to finish the inning. So the kid from a small town in Mississippi, former Mississippi State star, now becoming a Padres star.
And a high drive into deep right field. Seager has done it again. Swung on a high fly ball to deep left field. The Dodger bench empties. Would you believe a home run? And the Dodgers have clinched the division and will celebrate on schedule.
Not sure there was any question what was going to be number one on that list of best wins of the season, best moments of the season. How about Charlie Culberson's division clinching home run after Corey Seager tied it with a home run of his own with the Dodgers down to their final out in the 9th. It would have been an amazing game even if it fell in the middle of June, but it fell in the final home game of the regular season. It clinched the division, and it was Vin's final call at Dodger Stadium. It's almost like a Hollywood movie that would get rated poorly because it's too unbelievable.
Minutes before the Giants lose and the Dodgers would have clinched with a loss and a game continuing. Right. They get a walk-off.
Which is not nearly as fun. You know, look up at the scoreboard and see somebody else lose, making you a division champ. Look who it is to lead off this inning against Jose Dominguez. Strike one.
Well, the fans get all the video then of the guys congratulating each other in the dugout or waiting for them to come off the field if they were on defense to congratulate them. No, it was perfect.
And Culberson bangs a base hit to center, riding off of the high of that blast on Sunday. Greatest moment of his baseball life. Yeah, Sunday's movie got like a 75 on Rotten Tomatoes, just docked for plausibility factor, right? There's no way, the critics would say. Puig struck out his first time up there tonight behind a fastball at 96 for a strike. Game 2 tomorrow. Same time, same place. 7:10 right here on Sportsnet LA. Jose De Leon, Luis Perdomo. 102. And so the deficit behind the Nationals will now be 2 with 5 to play. Come on, Diamondbacks. Puig chases, down on 3 pitches. Every at-bat counts right now for a guy like Andre Ethier on the fringes of the roster as you look ahead to the postseason. Ball one. Two and oh. Ethier down the left field line, foul. 2 balls and 1 strike. Now the longest tenured Dodger, 11th season. 2-time All-Star. Waits on a 2-1 from Dominguez. That is ahead, 3 balls and 1 strike. Top of the order, and Chase Utley do next. Three and 2. These teams play 19 times a year. Dodgers started the season with a 3-game sweep down here in San Diego. They outscored the Padres 25-0. Padres then, though, won 5 of 7 through the middle part of the summer. But entering this series, Dodgers had won 5 of the last 6 meetings, so a bit of a seesaw battle. A payoff and a walk. Padres 66-90 right now. That's the 3rd worst record in the NL. And only the Braves and the Diamondbacks worse. And Andy Green's first season as the skipper. Second youngest manager in the majors, Andy Green. They still have not retired Chase Utley tonight. Double homer and a pair of walks. And as the Dodgers get traffic here in the 9th, Renfroe's grand slam in the bottom of the 8th looms large. Strike one. Oh, and 2. Dodgers have won 4 straight division titles. Last time anybody in the National League won that many in a row. Utley was involved in it. Phillies won 5 East Division titles in a row. His prime there. Waits on an 0-2, and that's ball one. World Championship in 08. Lost in the World Series in 09. And hoping to make another run to the Fall Classic with a team that he grew up rooting for up in Southern California. Dominguez pumps a 1-2, and Utley hits it on the ground to second. Suaje goes to second to get the force. And Culberson advances to third. The Dodgers down to their final bullet. Dodgers now 0 for their last 19 with runners in scoring position when you go back to Saturday. It's remarkable that those numbers go back to Saturday, and they are coming off back-to-back wins during that stretch.
5 wins in a row coming into this game.
Seager swings and misses. Strike one. Up to second goes Utley.
Reputation as a first pitch fastball hitter. They went to the changeup there, backing off all the way down to 87 miles an hour.
Oh, 2. Talking about winning streaks. You would think with the Padres having lost 90 games that they'd have some really long losing streaks this year. Well, their longest losing streak is 5. But they've lost at least 5 in a row 13 times. Or 3 in a row 13 times, beg your pardon. Trying to take the opener from the Dodgers tonight. And the strength of Hunter Renfroe's career evening. Just outside, ball 1. Culberson started this 9th inning with a single. He stands at 3rd. Utley's at 2nd. Dodgers trying to cash in with men in scoring position for the first time in a few days. Dominguez with a 1-2, and Seager strikes out swing. Finished him off with a changeup. And the Padres take the opener 7-1. The Crystal Springs, Mississippi native Hunter Renfroe, a ton of about 5,000 produced this guy. And in his first week in the majors, he is our Lexus player of the game. 2 home runs, a 3-run shot in the first inning off of Kenta Maeda, and then a grand slam to break